Welcome back to D20 Tactics. On this channel I play Dungeons & Dragons with my friends, and we explore combat scenarios and play out the tactics used to defeat monsters quickly and safely, giving you more time to get back to role-playing. I'm your host and Dungeon Master, Sarson Zero, and this week we have a recap of the dungeon recently completed by AzureWolf, BlindOracle, Fear No Equal, and LongFish. First, I'll replay 6 encounters that made up the Underdark Stronghold, and we'll talk about the encounters that we thought deserved more commentary. If you've recently watched those encounters, I'll put a timestamp for the start of the discussion in the description below. All of the heroes made it home after this one, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. So this dungeon is a drow strongpoint. The drow have been using this point to raid above ground. You're going to be traveling into the Underdark and attacking the drow where they're camped out, eliminating them and securing the area, preventing them from leading any more raids into the above ground. The first encounter is traveling through the tunnels on the way to the camp. Is anybody casting any spells at the beginning of the dungeon?
I'm casting 8 on the fighter, the wizard, and the rogue.
I'm casting mage armor and my find familiar.
Hit points, abilities, spells, items in hand. Fear No Equal, start us off.
I have 57 HP. I have +1 magic great axe in hand, and I have both second wind and action surge available to me.
Thank you very much. BlindOracle.
We're starting with 44 hit points. I'm starting with my +1 short bow in hand.
AzureWolf.
I am starting with 43 hit points, and I have nothing in my hands. I have 3 first level slots left, 3 second level slots left, and 3 third.
LongFish.
I have 51 hit points. I'm armed with my warhammer and my shield. I have 4 first level spell slots, 2 second level spell slots, and 3 third level spell slots. I have 2 channel divinity.
Monster abilities, items, and numbers. The first encounter is the big scary monster encounter. Let's get this one over with quickly. The big scary monster is a Drider. A Drider is a combination of drow and spider. The Driders are large monstrosities. They're chaotic evil, as most drow are. Fairly well armored, ton of hit points. They can move and they can climb. As all drow do, they can cast darkness and fairy fire. They have sunlight sensitivity, which is not going to make a difference. They can also walk over webs, which is not going to make a difference here. The Drider is bottom part spider, so they can bite, and then top part drow, so they have arms that they can use to wield weapons such as long swords and long bows. So that's what they're going to use to fight you. They have fairy fire, so they're going to hit you with that, try to get a couple of advantages to attack you, and then stand at range and do some damage with the longbow for as long as possible. Terrain and effects. So this map has some water. The water is difficult terrain unless you have a swim speed. It is not particularly deep though, so you don't have to worry about drowning in it or getting swept away by a current. Crystals require a climb speed or a DC 15 athletics check to climb across. Otherwise you could just move around them if you don't have the ability to climb over them. There's a set of stairs that goes up, and then there's also this kind of elevated platform thing here. If you want to go across that, you guys can absolutely do that. Otherwise the Drider's going to be climbing all over the place. That's what I've got.
What's the difficulty of getting up the cliffs on each side of the path immediately in front of us?
The cliffs have plenty of handholds, so they do not require any check to ascend. Same thing for this guy in the middle and this guy down here. You can climb up those perfectly normally.
Consumes movement?
Consumes movement at a double rate, essentially difficult terrain speed. If you have a ability that negates that fact, like a second story work, then you don't have to worry about that. Tactics. What are you guys thinking for tactics for this fight?
This feels like Tank's back.
Yep, turn and burn.
Get in close, beat on him until it's done.
You put our old nemesis climb speed in here.
We can't choke point this guy.
We might be able to surround him. At the very least, penalize him for trying to get past us with attacks of opportunity. But this doesn't feel like it's going to need any big spell slots or anything. We can save that for the next fights.
All right, any other thoughts, or are we going to get going? Go ahead and roll initiative. Who got higher than a 20? I have a 20 exactly for the Drider. Who has between a 20 and a 15?
17 after halfling luck kicked in.
15 on the owl,
Who has between a 15 and a 10?
14 on the wizard.
10 minus 1 on the clerk.
Okay, who's got between a 10 and a 5?
7 on the fighter.
So the Drider's going to go first. Drider's got 30 feet of movement. We're going to try to get into line of sight. I don't know that we're going to be able to do that. So the Drider's going to go to there and ready in action to shoot a longbow if an enemy comes within range. After that, we go to the rogue. BlindOracle, what do you got?
Bonus action to hide, a 25, and then I'd like to move behind the rock, and I think that's where we're going to stay.
After the rogue is the owl. What's the owl going to do?
Good question. The owl's best move, because of the range-wise, is to move up to the 3 south from that crystal.
No action for you. After that, we go to the wizard. AzureWolf, what do you got?
think I'm getting right there next to that owl. Prepare a firebolt for anything that gets in the range of hostile.
Okay, you cast Firebolt and concentrating on that. Cleric.
Dodge, and I am going to move. Get me in front of the road.
That's going to trigger the readied action. They're going to get 12 to hit you.
Nope.
Action, movement, no bonus action. Sounds good. Fighter.
Gonna go ahead and move up, put me just in front of the cleric since I have a little more distance than he does. I will go ahead and dodge as well.
All right, top of the order, Drider. The Drider is going to cast Fairy Fire on the lot of you. It's a 20-foot cube within range, so we're going to drop it onto this spot right here. That will hit the two in front that we know about, and coincidentally hit the one behind that we don't know about. So all three of you go ahead and make dexterity saves. DC is 13.
15.
Pass.
19.
19, that'll pass.
How's a 3 sound?
3 sounds fantastic. So you are currently under the effect of Fairy Fire. You shed dim light in a 10-foot radius. Attack rolls against you have advantage, and you cannot benefit from being invisible.
My invisibility.
We're going to jump back across the stream. Just put a little bit of cover between the two of us. All right, after that, we're going to go to the rogue.
So no readied action. I'm still hiding, running into the stunty problem. I'd like to try and be behind the crystal outcropping west of the team.
East, just to confirm.
Yeah, that's a dash action to get there. We will expose. You take the shot with advantage. Don't suppose a 15 will do it.
15 does not connect.
Then we're going to scurry back behind the corner.
After the rogue is the owl.
Just trying to confirm, that crystal, does it give a little bit of cover or no?
Depends on where you're positioned, but yeah, you can get cover from it.
Can I get the owl to move 4 west of the fighter there?
East.
East, sorry.
Wizard.
Think it's going to be kind of the same thing as move just in front of the rogue there. If it gets back into my line of sight, I'm prepping fireball.
And then after that is the LongFish.
Can you move me 1 south of the wizard? Do you guys still have line of sight to the Drider?
Nope, but you'll have it from here.
Okay. Yeah, that works. Alright, I will cast Sacred Flame. Make a dex save. Dex 15.
Dex 15, they're going to fail.
Nice.
6 damage.
Passes the concentration save with a 23. After that, we go to Fighter.
As I am exposed and glowing, I'm actually going to see if I can get around this guy and get some cover. So if you can send me northeast up the cliff, and I will dash.
After that, we go to my turn. We're going to go to there and then take 3 shots at you with our longbow. First one, 21 to hit with a longbow.
Do I have cover?
I think I can see pretty much all of you.
Alright, then AC is just 17, and that will hit.
Take 7 points of piercing and 6 points of poison. Second shot, we're going to get a 14 to hit you.
That's a miss.
And then the third shot, we're going to get an 18 to hit you.
That'll hit.
4 points of piercing and 1 point of poison for minimum damage. After the Drider is the BlindOracle.
Can I hide behind the crystal area at the very north of the screen behind the fighter?
Yes, yeah. I think you need one more. Yeah, you'd have to dash to get there.
That's fine. We'll dash to get there, and we'll take the hide action. 27 to hide.
27 sounds pretty legit. After the rogue is the owl.
Move him up towards the rogue there.
Duck down, full cover. Yeah. After the owl is the wizard.
I'm going to try and drag him back towards you guys, so you may not need to move.
I'm going to step out. If I can get him in line of sight, I'm firing.
Okay, line of sight is going to look like that. I think you can make that.
That is a 14 on the die.
14 is not going to hit. After that, we're going to go to LongFish.
Move me 1 diagonal southeast. 1 more south. Do I have line of sight?
Got cover, but you got it.
Alright, Sacred Flame. Ignores cover. Dex 15.
21 to save.
Yeah, you pass. Alright, I'm gonna move 2 space up back towards where I came.
After that, we go to Fear No Equal.
We're going to do a Han Solo, and having been shot at, we're going to run back the other direction, and then dodge.
Okay, anything else?
Polling the class. Do you guys think I should duck back north into that total cover, or should I stay here and dodge?
I think standing there and dodging is probably better. I think if the Drider comes around the corner and doesn't see a target, it may choose to loop back the other direction.
Yeah, that's my thinking. So I'm just going to keep on baiting.
After the fighter is the Drider. Drider's going to go to there and shoot 3 shots at the wizard. First shot, 21 to hit.
That'll go through.
8 points of piercing and 3 points of poison. You concentrating on anything?
Nope.
Second shot, 15 to hit.
I'll shield.
Okay, raise the shield. Third shot, 10 to hit. Obviously a miss. Then we're going to go 3 back. After the Drider is the rogue.
like to shoot the Drider, who I don't think has cover from that shot. 25.
25 connects.
Perfect. For 18 points of damage.
Here's the concentration save. You're going to fail the concentration. You no longer have Fairy Fire on you, fighter.
There's my contribution to this fight. Sure, we'll try and hide where we're standing. 25.
After the rogue is the owl.
I would like to move up and aggravate him for the wizard, and then back's fine.
Wizard.
Get him in my line of sight and fire a bolt.
Yeah, it's already in your line of sight.
Oh, and that's a crit.
Ooh, nice.
That's a 10 on the die. Let's move to some cover if we can. Just a little bit more.
After the wizard is LongFish.
I'll do the same trick. Move down, pop a Sacred Flame, move back.
9, so they're going to fail.
5 damage, then move back. That's me.
After the cleric is the fighter.
Without the disadvantage on attacks, I'm going to go ahead and move up and dodge.
After that is the Drider. Drider's going to go to there and take a shot at the cleric, who's the only person it can really see. You know, you got a +5 cover, so, you know, let's hope this goes well. 16 to hit you.
Nope.
16 to hit you again.
Nope.
19 to hit you.
Nope.
That's me. After the Drider is the rogue.
You're running away.
I am.
You're not supposed to run away.
I am supposed to run away.
You shouldn't be afraid of the stunty. Come on now. I think the answer here is to pop out, get to the corner, and take the shot, and then see where we're at from there. With advantage from breaking stealth. Well, there's the crit.
Alright, sock full of dice time.
28 points. Then I'd like to sneak back behind the fighter. Bonus action to dash backwards. If I can get back to my original square, that'd be ideal.
After the rogue is the owl.
Can't get him near there, so I'm gonna move up just behind the fighter, because that's about all I can get him.
After the owl is the AzureWolf.
I'm gonna step out, shoot, and move back. Fire bolt, where you at? It's a 19,
19 connects.
16, and move back.
LongFish.
The Drider has no cover from where I'm standing, right? I am going to throw a guiding bolt at it. 12 plus 7, 19.
19's what you need.
And level 1 guiding bolt is 46. 17 damage, and that's me.
After the cleric is the fighter.
Move up 6 and dodge.
After the fighter's the Drider. Drider's gonna do a similar thing. Jump to the pillar again and take a shot at the wizard. Wizard's got less cover. 23 to hit you, wizard. You've got +2 for the intervening cleric.
Still gonna hit me even if a mage armor's to go.
Take 6 points of piercing and 4 points of poison. Second shot, 15 to hit you. Remember, you got +2 for the intervening character.
So that's a miss.
And then the final one is a 14, which is going to miss normally. That's me, BlindOracle.
Put an impressive amount of distance between us. How tall is the river?
The water's only about 1.5 feet deep, not deep at all.
Okay, so I can't hide in the water, unfortunately. I'm a little too tall for that. I'm disappointed by this. I want you to know that.
If you went prone, you could hide behind the embankment here.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. So move dash hide. That's a 23.
Sounds good. Ow.
Move him up close, but yeah, that's about as far as he's gonna get, is right there next to that fighter.
After the owl is the wizard. AzureWolf, what do you got?
Move out, shoot.
You have advantage because guiding bolt.
21,
21 will connect.
16, move back.
Where do you want to go? Same spot or further?
Same spot, but I'm gonna go prone. I forgot about that this time. I should have been doing that from the beginning.
Oh, that's smart. Okay, cool. After the wizard is the cleric.
I'll throw another Sacred Flame at it. Dex 15.
12, so that's going to fail.
10 damage.
10 damage is lethal, and the Drider drops. End of the encounter. Report hit points. Fear no equal.
39 of 57.
BlindOracle.
44 of 44.
AzureWolf.
22 of 43.
LongFish.
51 of 51.
End of encounter actions.
I'm just going to use my second wind now, instead of doing it in the middle of the next fight. Second wind for 8 HP.
And I'd also like to collect arrows.
You cover half of the spent arrows. With the Guardian Drider destroyed, the adventurers push on deeper into the cavern. Hit points, abilities, spells, items in hand. It's LongFish.
Currently at 51 hit points. I have 3 first level spell slot, 2 second level spell slot, and 3 third level spell slot remaining. I have both of my channel divinity, my Warhammer and my shield.
Thank you very much, AzureWolf.
Currently sitting at 22 hit points. He's used up 2 first levels, so 2 remaining, 3 second, 3 third. Nothing in hand.
BlindOracle,
44 of 44 hit points, short bow in hand.
you're no equal.
47 of 57 hit points, Great Axe +1 in hand. My second wind is consumed. My action surge is still available.
This encounter has you fighting 4 Quaggoths. Quaggoths are Underdark monsters that are servants to the Drow. If they're wounded, they get more angry and do more damage. Otherwise, they just have claw multi-attack, so they're melee combatants. They charge into combat and try to attack people. There's 4 of them. 2 giant spiders. Giant spiders have the ability to bite you. They can climb, as you might imagine a spider can. They can bite you. They can throw web at you, which will restrain you, as long as it hits, which is really nice. So that's the thing that they have. We're using patented Saracen Zero cavalry formations, so the Drow warriors on the top are legitimate targets, giant spiders on the bottom are legitimate targets. If you kill one, then the other one will survive. You can target either one you want. Drow warriors have short swords and hand crossbows. They can cast darkness and fairy fire. They're not particularly strong though. They're kind of mooks. They're low level terrain and effects. So you've got some more crystals. Crystals require a DC 15 athletics check to climb up or a climb speed. Water is difficult terrain unless you have a swim speed. There's a lot of regular types of difficult terrain scattered around here. That's what our terrain looks like. Tactics, what are you guys thinking?
Would it be possible to funnel them to the left side of the map?
Maybe.
We all go left to where the leftmost Quagos is standing.
We have to get around the crystals, and the spiders will be able to engage us by then.
We all go right? Wait, no, that's just water.
Probably going to be move you 2 beefy guys up front a little bit to the east and block the incoming horde of angry mob.
Okay.
The wall of plate is a real thing.
Yeah, where are we putting the wall of plate?
The crystals start to lose a little bit right there, so that little spot there to the east, like 2 spots over to the east there.
Between the crystals and the water.
Gotcha. Remember, the water's not actually stopping movement, so...
Correct. It's just difficult terrain unless you have a swim speed. I don't think anybody here does. Also, I think pretty much everybody here has the strength to jump it fairly easily. The rogue is the only one who will struggle at longer jumps, but you can do 5-foot jumps.
Yeah.
Those guys are going to probably bum rush us.
Point of target priority, we should nuke the spiders first. Having the back line with the owl get restrained is bad.
Fighter, you want to borrow the wand again so you'll have a little bit more ranged options for this fight?
Sure. But I don't think that that's going to be super important because I'm going to be buried in Quaggoths in very short order.
Yeah, I just figured if anything, it came down to you couldn't get to one of the spiders in time. It's a way to at least put some damage on one of them.
If they all swarm us, would a Spirit Guardian be worth it?
I think if they all swarm us, that just reads Fireball.
Yeah, your Spirit Guardian would be amazing at that point.
All right, we ready to go?
All right.
Good.
Go ahead and roll initiative.
Oh, God.
Anybody have higher than a 20?
Oh, boy.
Anybody have between a 20 and a 15?
We're killing it.
Anybody have between a 15 and a 10?
The rogue is a 14.
Between a 10 and a 5?
7 on the owl,
6 on the cleric.
I got a 5 spiders,
5 on the wizard.
and I'm a 5-3. What do you got for me, fighter?
0.
Mighty.
Rogue, kick us off.
If I recall correctly, it's cost me double movement to move through my friends.
Yes, difficult terrain to get through this guy.
I think the play then is going to be to move behind the pillar that is to the south of us and then take the hide action.
Hide only hides you from people that you have concealment from. If you wind up not having concealment from them, you're no longer hidden from them. You're good with that?
I am. I'm trying to figure out if there's a better place to hide there, and I don't think there is.
You can always hide behind allies.
Just foot tap and hide behind the wizard then? Yeah, that's not a bad call.
You want to do that instead?
Let's do that. The final action is just to take the action there and hide. That's a 13.
Okay, and then what's the action?
No action.
We always have an action. It's either ready or dodge.
Dodge?
After the rogue is owl. What's the owl going to do?
Oh, geez, really?
Mm-hmm.
Think he's just going to hang out right where he's at.
After the owl is the longfish.
I am going to drop a Sacred Flame on the spider directly south of me. Dex 15.
I get a 7, so I'm going to fail.
7 damage. And I am going to move southeast. 1 more to the east. 1 more south.
After that, we go to spiders. Quaggoths have a climb speed, so they're going to use it.
Well, that changes things.
He's going to dash to here. He's going to jump to there and try to maul the cleric. Plus 5 to hit. 16 to hit your cleric.
No.
You got another 16. Quaggoth is going to stand up there. He's going to go to there. He's going to go there. He'll try to spit web at you.
Okay.
16 to hit's going to miss, especially with a cover. The drow is going to fire a hand crossbow. 17 to hit.
Miss.
Spider's going to go to there. Drow's going to ready a shot to shoot if there's anybody who appears through that gap. After the spiders is the wizard.
What's my line of sight on that spider that shot the cleric?
It's got 3/4 cover.
It's fine. Magic missile level 2.
Magic missile's not going to care about cover.
That's going to be 2 on the die.
4 shots, 2 on the die is going to give you a total of 8 damage. After the wizard is the fighter.
I'm going to try and get to that Quaggoth that's menacing the rogue. I understand that requires a climb check.
DC 15 athletics check.
That is an 18. And then I'm going to attack. First attack. That is a 15 to hit.
15 connects.
15 damage. A 14 to hit
14's going to hit.
for 8 damage.
After that, we're going to go to the rogue.
I guess we drop the short bow and pull out a short sword and try and stab him.
All right, roll to hit.
Am I still hidden, I guess is the question.
There's a crystal between you two, so that would be concealment, which is enough to hide.
23.
23 connects.
15 points. Still standing, huh?
Still standing.
Ugh, that's unfortunate. Don't suppose I can try and hide from him at this point, can I?
Yeah, you still have the concealment between the two of you.
23 to hide.
23 will definitely hide from him. Al?
I'm going to move in and aggravate that one to our west for the fighter. And I'm going to move him back to where he was, right next to me.
After the owl's the cleric. Longfish, what do you got?
Kill the spider.
I am going to dodge and cast a spiritual weapon
Where do you want it?
on the thing to the east of me. A 16 to hit.
16 will connect.
Oh, 12 damage.
After that, we're going to go to my turn. Let's do this one first. Quaggoth's got a strength of 17, so he's going to jump to here. Rogue no longer has concealment from him. So we're going to try to maul the wizard first. Now 20 to hit you, wizard. Takes 7 points of slashing damage from the claw. Second attack is going to be a 10 to hit you.
Negative.
He's going to move to there, try to kill the owl. He's going to get a 13 to hit the owl.
It's going to hit.
7 points of slashing damage. I think that's lethal to the owl.
Yep.
Quaggoths are easily distracted.
One remaining move and stand there and go after the wizard. That's going to be a 14 to hit the wizard. Then we're going to throw the rest of these at the dodging cleric. I don't think the cleric's going to be the right move. Proc the Oppie because we have plenty of hit points left. So this guy's going to go there. Go ahead and hit me if you want.
No.
Not going to take the reaction, so we're going to go to there. We're going to go after the fighter. 18 to hit you, fighter.
That'll hit.
Take 5 points of slashing. Second attack, 8 to hit you. That's going to miss. And then this guy's going to proc.
I will hit him. That one.
That one's going to miss him. And then he's going to slide on into there going after the wizard. 16 to hit.
Shield.
Okay. And then a 11 to hit.
Negative.
After that, we go to the spiders. Spider's going to attempt to recharge. It's going to fail to do so. He's going to go to there and with disadvantage try to attack the cleric. 17 to hit you, cleric.
Nope.
The drow on top is going to attack with the short sword. With disadvantage, I'm going to get a 17 to hit you.
Nope.
This guy's going to go after the fighter. We're going to move to there. 22 to hit you, fighter.
That'll hit.
4 points of piercing damage and make a constitution save.
24.
24 will pass, so the 8 points is reduced to 4 points. Poison damage. The drow's going to attack for 17 to hit you.
Yep.
Take 8 points of piercing damage. And that's all of my stuff. After the spiders is the wizard.
I once heard a great wizard say for fireball. We're going to try to drop it on everybody that's here. Sculpting, because I can. We're not going to take any hits for that. Dex save of 15. And the damage is 27.
27 save for half is going to be 13, I think. Drow are at +2, spiders are at +3, Quaggoths are at +1. Western Cavalry, Spider is going to pass, so he's going to take 13. The rider atop him is going to fail. He's going to take the entire amount and die. Spider Mount to the east cannot survive this, so he's going to drop. The guy riding him is going to fail as well, so he's going to drop. Northernmost Quaggoth. Oh man, he's going to take full damage, so that was 27. Mid-western Quaggoth. He's going to die because he doesn't have a lot of hit points left. Mid-eastern Quaggoth, he's going to take full damage as well. And the southern Quaggoth, he's going to take full damage. If you got to move?
Not like I have much room to move.
Not so much, no.
Also don't want to proc multiple opportunities.
Nope. Remember me well, boys.
After that, we go to the fighter.
I will start with the spider. That is a 22
Connects.
for all of 7 damage. We're going to hit him again for a 24
24 connects.
for 12 points of damage.
That is lethal.
We're going to step 1 space to the east and action surge, going for the northeastern Quaggoth. That's a 22 to hit for 11 damage. I suspect he's pretty low, so I'm going to go after the mid-eastern Quaggoth next, though. And that's a 1 to hit.
Unfortunately, that's going to miss. After that is the rogue.
Yeah, this is not a great position to be in. Well, I guess we can actually pick up the bow. And it is an athletics check to get to the other side of that crystal, from what I understand.
DC 15 athletics check to move through the crystals, yes.
I'm going to fail that. That's not going to happen. I think we just pick up the bow and shoot the southern Quaggoth. 23 to hit.
23 will connect.
19.
Yeah, that's lethal. I didn't think you were going to do it. You good there?
Yeah.
After the rogue is the cleric.
Move me up next to the Southern Quaggoth and try to hit it. 14 to hit
Yep, that'll connect.
for 8 damage.
8 points is lethal.
And then I'll move my spiritual weapon next to the last guy. Dirty 20 to hit
Dirty 20 will connect.
for 8 points of damage.
8 points is also lethal, and that clears the encounter. Report hit points.
26 of 57, under half.
44 of 44.
You made it out of that unscathed.
I've got 15 hit points left.
51 out of 51.
Pre-rest actions, anything you guys want to do before the short rest?
Can we get that divine thing?
Channel Divinity, okay.
How many do you need to take you to just under half?
7 to get me to 21.
2 would get me to half.
And is that the distribution cleric?
Okay.
Hit dice. BlindOracle, you spending any hit dice?
No.
LongFish, you spending any hit dice?
No.
Fear no equal.
I'm spending 4 hit dice for 27 HP, putting me at 55 of 57.
AzureWolf.
I'm spending 4 for 13, putting me 40 out of 43.
And that is the final cave before the Drow encampment. After this, we're going to charge into the Drow encampment and root out the Drow there. It's hit points, abilities, spells, items, and hands, starting with Rogue. Tell us what you got.
44 of 44 hit points, holding a short bow, no abilities that don't involve sneak dice.
Cleric, tell us about it.
51 out of 51 hit points. I have my Warhammer and my shield. I have 3 first level spell slot, 1 second level spell slot, and 3 third level spell slots remaining. And both of my Channel Divinity.
Thank you very much. Wizard.
I have 40 out of 43 HP, 4 first level slots, 2 second, 2 third. Find Familiar was going to be used during the rest.
Fighter.
I have 55 of 57 HP. I have a Great Axe +1 in hand. I have my Action Surge and Second Wind available.
Monsters, abilities, items, and numbers. So this fight has a Drow Elite Warrior, 2 Drow Regular Warriors, riding 2 Giant Spiders. So patented Saracen Zero Cavalry formation. Spiders legitimate targets, the Riders are legitimate targets. If you kill one, then the other one survives and will fight on. Drow have short swords and hand crossbows, and Fairy Fire and Darkness. The Giant Spiders have the ability to throw a web at you, and they can bite you. Drow Elite Warrior is a Drow, so it can cast Darkness and Fairy Fire. It can also levitate, but only on itself. Has a hand crossbow and a short sword, but it has multi-attack, which makes it elite. It can also parry, which is a reaction it can use to increase its AC. It has studded leather armor and a shield, but its dex is quite high. Makes it a little bit better than the regular Drow Warriors. Terrain and effects. So the terrain here is a lot of water and a little bit of difficult terrain. It is cramped quarters, as one might expect from a cave network. This is a castle inside of a cave, so things are very tight and constrained in here. In fact, you cannot get to each other without going through difficult terrain. However, this is squeezing area if the spiders try to get into it, so it gives you a little bit of protection from them, because they're going to have to squeeze if they're going to try to get into where you guys are. The water is all difficult terrain unless you have a swim speed. Nobody here has a swim speed, so it's basically just difficult terrain. Tactics, what are you guys thinking?
Ooh.
This feels like ideal for a choke point fight, and I think that I can probably take advantage of something that I've been sitting on for a while, which is a potion of growth, so that I can block a larger choke point. So dependent on initiative, we move up into the narrow corridor, and I either push out to the water entrance, or else if I have to go all the way around, and then use potion of growth to block that point.
Alright, that's definitely a plan.
That's a really good plan. If I'm reading this correctly, the space that is north from the hallway, across from the blocking terrain, that's a valid space to stand in with cover in it, correct?
Yes, you can stand in that.
Okay. Depending upon how the choke point works, I might try to sneak over there and shoot from that rock outcropping, depending on how things go.
Targeting priorities, I feel like we should take the cavalry first. They did not have a huge amount of HP in the previous fight, so maybe knock down the drow, then knock down the spiders.
I agree.
I would also note that this feels like a good environment for a fireball, just like the last one.
Well, if our DM feels nice enough to line them all up again.
They were all melee combatants last time. Now they are not all melee combatants. Although I foolishly put the ranged combatants in there. I should not have done that.
I mean, if the wizard wins the draw on this one, throw a fireball right down the middle, call it a game.
That'll do it. Anything else, or are we good to go?
I think that's it on my end.
Let's roll up initiative.
Oh god, that's gonna be close.
Anybody have higher than a 20?
21.
Anyone have between a 20 and a 15?
17 on the owl.
Who's got between a 15 and a 10?
13 on the wizard.
Who's got between a 10 and a 5? 8 on the Drow Elite Warriors.
8 on the fighter.
4.
Rogue, start us off.
Let's go ahead and move through the party. That'll take me a dash to do it. I'd actually like to duck into the corridor to the south, and then take the hide action. 23, which is good.
That is good. Next is the owl.
Move him in that corridor with the rogue, please.
After that, we go to the wizard.
Oh boy, I think this is a fireball.
I guess that's the nature of initiative.
It's going to be a dex save, DC 15, and your damage is going to be 29, half on the save.
29 of 14. Western Cavalry. Spider is going to get +3, so it's going to get a 12. That's going to take full damage, which will die. The Rider is going to take full damage. The Southern Cavalry, the Spider's going to get a 10, which is going to fail. It's going to die. The Rider's going to get 20, so the Rider's going to survive, wishing it didn't. And then the Drow Elite is going to fail. Even with his proficient dexterity save, he's still going to fail and take 29 points of damage.
Gentlemen, I'd like to discuss the tactical value of going first.
Yes.
It's very powerful.
By the way, did that Drow need to take a save for falling off his mount?
Passes the athletics check. What else you got for us, Wizard?
I was trying to count spots there, so it's going to take 10 to get through the...
5 to get to the front, and you would be blocking everybody else, causing the same traffic jam.
Yeah, I think I'll just wait.
This guy's going to go to here and throw a fairy fire onto this group. Wizard, fighter, and cleric, please make dexterity saves. DC is 11 to avoid having fairy fires around you.
Fighter gets a 9.
Cleric gets a 15.
Wizard's failing with a 7.
And then this guy's going to move out of the way. Drow Elite Warrior, he's going to move to there, ready in action to shoot if somebody gets within 30 feet. And that's my turn. After that, we're going to go to the fighter.
I'm going to move up to just outside 30 feet, and then I'll dodge.
After that, we're going to go to the cleric.
There's no way I can see that Drow Elite, right?
You can see him. He's got cover. He's got 3/4 cover. But yeah, you can see him.
Get me within 60 feet of him. I'll drop a Sacred Flame on him. Dex 15.
He's going to pass the 24.
The other would have been a better priority target.
Move me up one more to the south so I don't block the way.
Blocked the way anyways.
After the cleric is the rogue.
That makes moving a little more difficult. Let's take 5 squares of movement to get in front of the fighter. Shoot the regular drow.
Beautiful.
With advantage. 16 plus 8 says 24.
24 connects.
17 points.
He drops.
And then loop back around the corner with the dash action.
And we lose Fairy Fire.
After that is the owl.
Let's move him to that northern area towards the water there.
After that, we're going to go to the wizard.
If I get behind the fighter, I was trying to see what my line of sight is.
You have line of sight to him. He just has 3/4 cover.
That's fine. Firebolt, 14 on the die. I don't think that's going to work.
AC 23 with a cover, so that's going to miss.
Take a couple steps back and go prone.
After the wizard is the drow. We're going to drop darkness, plunge all of you into magical darkness that dark vision cannot permeate. After that, we're going to move in here because we do not have a ready action. After the drow, we're going to go to the fighter.
Move up 30, which is I think just going to be 25 feet, and then dodge.
After the fighter's the cleric.
I'm gonna dash past the fighter. Alright, that's me.
After the cleric's the rogue.
That's a great question. So we're going to move 5 to the hallway, dash action to get behind the fighter, and then take a hide. 16.
After the rogue is the owl.
So let's fly in there, aggravate the guy for the fighter, and get back down the hall as much as you can.
After the owl is the wizard.
Stand up, dash as far as I can into the water area there.
After that, we go back to the drow. I successfully bought myself a turn and your proximity. Drop the hand crossbow, switch to the short sword, charge the cleric. Swing with the short sword. 18 to hit you.
Nope.
And second attack, 12 to hit you. It's nice knowing y'all. After that, we go to the fighter.
Go ahead and pop in, get to his far side just for fun so that he can't walk away without proccing, and then we're just going to beat on him. That is 19 to hit,
That'll do it.
13 damage. Does darkness require concentration?
It does.
He's going to pass the first one.
17 to hit.
Negative. He's going to dodge that. After the fighter is the cleric.
I will try to dock him prone.
Okay. He's going to get a 24 on his acrobatics check to avoid that.
Beats my 21.
Anything else for you? Got a bonus action? You good?
I'm good.
Tactical note before we go farther. I don't know how much value we're going to get out of knocking him prone, since our rogue will have disadvantage to hit him in that case. I think it only really helps you and me, and we're not the primary damage dealers.
He's also going to go before both of you, so he would just stand back up.
Yeah, it would mean that I have to walk up to stab him, which I can do in this case, and my AC isn't terrible, but it means surrendering hiding.
It's your turn to move up.
I move up behind the cleric, take the hide action, 22 to hide,
22 will hide.
then we're going to shoot the drow. 21 to hit,
21 will connect, even with the cover.
18 points.
Anything else?
So that's me.
Concentration.
He's going to pass the second one. After that, we're going to go to the owl.
Repeat the aggravation for the fighter.
After that, we go to the wizard.
Let's move down, get shot range, fire a firebolt, 25 on the die,
25 will do it.
14.
God, that is lethal. He's going to drop. Port hit points.
51 out of 51 hit points.
55 out of 57.
40 out of 43.
44 of 44.
Any end of encounter actions?
Laugh at his corpse.
That's the first room of the stronghold. After you guys have made it into the base, only evil from here on in. Hit points, abilities, spells, items in hand. LongFish, tell me about it.
I have 51 out of 51 hit points. I am armed with my Warhammer and shield. I have 3 level 1 spell slots, 1 level 2 spell slot, and 3 level 3 spell slots remaining, and both of my channel divinity.
Fear no equal.
I have 55 out of 57 HP. I have a Great Axe +1 in hand, and I still have my Action Surge and Second Wind available.
AzureWolf.
I have 40 out of 43 HP. I have all 4 first level slots, 2 remaining second, 1 remaining third. My arcane recovery has been used up.
And BlindOracle.
44 out of 44 hit points, +1 shortbow. And a rogue can do this all day.
Monsters, abilities, items, and numbers. Very, very simple encounter here. We just have 4 drow. That's it. There's 4 drow here. Definitely no phase spiders that you're aware of. Phase spiders, as we all don't know, can't sit in the ethereal plane and watch you. They definitely just can't jump out of the ethereal plane whenever they want as a bonus action. Nothing to worry about. Just 4 drow. Very simple encounter. Drow have crossbows that are poisoned and short swords, and they definitely don't have phase spider friends. Those are the monsters that are definitely here. After that is the terrain. Terrain much similar as a previous encounter. We got water off to our right, a little bit of water off to our left. Water is difficult terrain. It's only knee or waist deep if you're halfling. Water is difficult terrain unless you have a swim speed. Nobody has a swim speed. There's a little bit of difficult terrain for the crystals and the rocks that are scattered around, and then the close confines of the stone fortress that you guys are clearing out. And then finally, tactics. What do you guys have to say about tactics here?
Gee, these 4 drow seem a lot like they'd be awfully easy to take if they didn't have phase spider friends. It's a good thing they don't have phase spider friends.
These are the same drow soldiers we've seen on top of spiders before?
These are the same soldiers that have been on top of them. However, these are not currently riding.
Right, no, just to be clear, these are the same hit points, same gear, meaning that we probably can target and knock them down pretty rapidly once we start going in on them. So I feel like we just knock down all the drow, and then probably deal with the phase spiders as we cluster around a definitely not Spirit Guardians cleric.
Any other thoughts, or are we going to get started?
I think we just stick together and get started.
Yeah, I think it's a stick together thing.
And remember the most in tactic, go before the enemy.
Yeah, I think we've used our luck on that one.
Who has higher than a 20? Who's got between a 20 and a 15? Who's got between a 15 and a 10?
Cleric has 13, -1.
Rogue with a 12-4.
Wizard with a 12.2, Owl with a 12.1.
Fighter with a 12 on a -1. If you can't go first, also all go together.
Right? No, I like this. This is good.
We took that stick together thing to heart.
We did. It's the right idea.
Cleric, kick us off.
Walk me 3 squares north. Can I draw a line of sight to the first drow?
Yep, you got him.
Sacred Flame, Dex 15.
He's going to fail that.
9 pounds of damage. And I am going to back up so I don't block the way.
After the cleric, we go to the rogue.
We're going to do something very similar to what the cleric just did. We're going to move up, take the shot with the short bow, 17 to hit.
It's going to miss with his cover. He's got 3/4.
Then I'd like to loop behind the ledge and hide. 18.
After the rogue, we're going to go to the next person with the 12, which is a wizard.
Move up, take the shot with Firebolt. That's going to miss with a nat 1, and move back.
Then we go to the next person with the 12, which is an owl.
Yeah, let's aggravate him a little bit for the, I guess the rogue.
7 to there. Okay, and then where do you want to go from there?
Back as far as I can.
And then the next person with a 12, which is the fighter.
Move up 30 and stand in the stairway and dodge.
And then the next person without a 12, which is me. So the first guy is going to throw darkness. So that's his action. He's then going to move to there. This guy's going to move here. This guy's going to shoot any enemy who walks into his crossbow range. This guy's going to move to here, shoot any enemy who walks into his crossbow range. This guy's going to move to here, shoot any enemy that walks into his crossbow range. Definitely not spiders, definitely not hiding. Let me just look up some spider movement speeds.
That are definitely not there, right? This is just academic spider research.
Yeah, just purely academic spider research. You guys definitely didn't see that. Magic of editing, only the audience is going to see it. That's how this works. Those are my spiders. Next is the cleric.
I can see. Never mind. And just prep Spirit Guardian in dark. I'm gonna move up 5 and dodge.
What's the order on your actions?
I'm gonna dodge first, then run out.
There it is. Okay. So here's the first one. I'm going to get a 16 to hit you.
Nope.
And then the second one is going to be a 8 to hit you.
No.
So after that, we're going to go to the Blind Oracle.
My official statement there.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank myself.
This is difficult because in order to get there to take a shot, I've got a dash action, but I'm not hiding at the moment technically. Sure, let's just move up behind the fighter, still inside the darkness. Take the hide action, 17, and then take the dodge action.
AzureWolf.
Yeah, I'm like the rogue. I'm drawing a blank here.
The double stacked plate at the front is tough. It's costing an entire move action to get through you guys when you're stacked like that.
Well, we'll be getting out of the way in a moment.
Yep, not knowing what's around me. Let's move as far as we can into that darkness, I guess. Dodging. I don't. Yeah.
You got it. Al.
You said the first two have fired, right?
That's correct. The third one has not.
I don't really want to move up there to trigger, but I don't really. I think I'm going to move him just to, let's see, west of the cleric and south one. So he's got cover from that cave area there.
After that, we go to fighter.
All right. Not knowing about spiders, but being within 30 feet of some people, I'm going to go ahead and charge out, suss that ready to action.
It's an 8 to hit you. And then where are we going?
And then go up towards the nearest drow fighters. This is a good spot. Let's go ahead and take some swings. That is a 19 to hit
Connects.
for a big ol' 7 damage, and a 19 to hit for 8 damage.
That's lethal. That guy's going to drop.
Oh, hey, I'll take it. I guess I'll scoot north a little bit. Maybe I'll mess up his shot or something.
I think you wanted to wind up here to stay within that guy's range. After the fighter, it's my turn. This guy's going to hop out here because he can't see you and shoot the fighter in the back. He's going to get a 9 to hit you, fighter.
It's not going to hit.
And then dance back into there. This guy is going to walk over to there and shoot the fighter. 7 to hit you. This guy's going to go to there, pull out a short sword, and dodge. Spiders that are definitely not here. Spider's going to move a little bit and then pop out of the etherealness as a bonus action. Now you're dodging, so this is going to be at disadvantage. I'm going to get a 9 to hit you, cleric.
Nope.
Yeah, that's too bad. And this guy's going to move, jump out of the ethereal plane in that spot. He cannot see the wizard, so he has disadvantage to hit him. The wizard cannot see him, so he has an advantage to hit him, which is just going to wipe normally. He's going to get a 12 to hit you.
Negative.
He's going to back up, which does not proc an attack of opportunity because you can't see him. Then the last guy is going through the ethereal plane to a point where you don't know. Those are the spiders. Cleric, top of the order.
Okay, I have a spider in front of me, and I can't walk around it.
Not so much, no.
Can I squeeze through its spot?
Nope.
Now might be an excellent time for that Spirit Guardians.
Yeah, it's gonna hit 2 of you.
He has to be able to see a person to designate them as immune from the Spirit Guardians. He cannot see either of you, therefore you would take the damage from the Spirit Guardians. It's probably not a good time to do that.
Okay, so I do have to deal with a spider. I will hit it with a first level inflicting wounds. Crit!
Yep.
3d10 turns into 6d10. 46 damage.
Well, that is most definitely lethal.
Now I'm going to move. Try to corner that drow that casts darkness.
After the cleric is the rogue.
So there is a spider in the dark that I can't really do a whole lot about. I'm still hidden. Sure, let's pop out and shoot a drow. Like to go north. I can move to get to north and shoot it. I just need to get to the rock.
Oh, you want to go to this rock here?
Just put me next to that rock.
You will lose stealth once you hit this point.
Yeah, but that's also when I'm taking the shot at that point.
Yeah, that's smart, yeah. So you'll go to there, take the shot because you still have some concealment.
Like, we take the shot there. It's a 28 to hit
28 will hit, even with the cover.
for 20 points of damage.
20 points of damage is lethal to that guy.
And I should have enough movement to get around behind the rock and hide.
Roll it up. That was good.
26.
That'll probably hide you from a drow. After the Blind Oracle is the AzureWolf.
I so want to say that old meme, cast magic missile in the darkness, but I gotta be able to see it.
You
as
do have to
silly
be able
as
to
it
see it.
sounds, I'm assuming I've heard kind of where it kind of moved to.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna bump into it, cast Shocking Grasp because it's a save.
It's not a save. Shocking Grasp is an attack roll, but you can roll to hit. It cannot see you, so you have advantage to hit. You cannot see it, so you have disadvantage, which is just going to cancel out for a +7 or whatever you normally get.
I don't think Shocking Grasp is the way to go then. Firebolt at disadvantage, I guess. Try to claim that spider. That's a 25.
25 will connect.
12. And let's move to the northwest there, out of the darkness. We definitely want to get around that corner after seeing that there's still some drow out there.
After that, it goes to the owl.
I'm going to go aggravate that drow by the fighter for the fighter.
Fighter, your target has been aggravated.
Bonk time. We are going to hit it for a 20, dirty 20, for 11 damage, and then a dirty 20 again for 14 damage.
14 damage is lethal.
And then I will move to the wizard and rogue to cover them.
After that, we go to spiders. This drow up here is going to drop his crossbow, draw his sword, and try to stab the cleric. 16 to hit your cleric.
Nope.
This spider is going to shift into the ethereal plane rather than try to squeeze through spaces. Then he's going to where he wants to go. This spider is going to go, and then he's going to appear right behind you guys. We're going to throw the bite at... Oh, man. If I throw it at the rogue, you're going to use your reaction to uncanny dodge. If I throw it at the wizard, you're going to use your reaction to shield. I think I'm going to get more damage out of the rogue, so we're going to throw it at the rogue.
You could throw it at the fighter.
I could throw it at the fighter. I'm not going to. I'm going to get a 13 to hit.
That's going to miss.
And those are my actions. After the spiders, we're going to go to the cleric.
I'll try to... Well, I will Sacred Flame the drow in front of me. Dex 15
She's going to fail.
for 11 damage.
11 damage is lethal. He's going to drop. His spell goes with him.
And I'm going to run back towards the wizard.
Please don't take my spot.
Oh, no, I'll go back one.
Smart. Good communication. After the cleric is the blind oracle.
Drop the bow, so that's not going to give a ton of help here, and try to stab the spider. I presume I am not hidden from the spider at this point.
You presume correctly.
25 going to hit the spider?
25 will hit, yeah.
9 points of damage.
That's a lot of not very much sneak attack for having an ally adjacent.
Oh, you're right. I forget about that. Try that number again. 21 points of damage.
Anything else?
Have we seen the second spider at this point?
Seen it? No, you're aware of its existence, but you have not visually seen it. The wizard got attacked by it.
I'm debating disengaging and running behind the fighter.
You gonna do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
AzureWolf.
Wand of Magic Missile, 3 charges.
3 charges. Wow, you're gonna nuke this guy. Okay.
And the missile is for 3.
And then there's 5 of them, so it's gonna be 15 damage. That is lethal. The movement?
Yes, I think I'm going to where the rogue is, kind of up there. West, please.
After that, we go to the owl. I don't see much that the owl can do. Unfortunately, we're still on initiative. Dodge for the owl.
Yep.
Fighter.
Move to the west of the wizard, and then ready an action to attack the next enemy that appears.
Cool. So the spider's going to move to this spot, and then it's going to jump out of the ethereal plane as a bonus action and go after that rogue again. We're going to get a 14 to hit your rogue.
That will miss.
Okay, now we're going to die gloriously. Or pathetically. We're about to see. LongFish, what do you got?
Sacred Flame, Dex 15.
I'm going to get a 16.
Pass. That's me.
After that, we're going to go to BlindOracle.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and stab while we're in melee. It'll be okay. 21 to hit.
Hits.
19 points of damage.
19 points of damage. So close. What's your bonus action?
Bonus action, use item, throw acid flask. But, no, I'd be swinging at disadvantage. It's not going to work.
You could do that. You could also drop the bow and draw another short sword.
Yeah, we can try. Let's try and do that. 13 to hit.
13 is exactly what you need. That is his AC.
Oh, you're kidding me. I've never two-weapon fought in 5e, by the way.
It's just the dice. You don't add your damage modifier.
4 damage.
4 points of damage is lethal, and the phase spider drops. That clears the encounter. Report hit points.
51 out of 51.
44, 44.
40 out of 43.
55 out of 57.
All right, well, I think that's going to make this quick. Any pre-rest actions?
I would like to pick up my bow.
I don't think anyone needs the whatchamacallit, Channel Divinity.
Nope.
Nope.
Hit dice that you guys are going to use during this rest. This is the last short rest, so spend them if you got them.
No.
No.
1 for 5, so I'm capped off.
My 2 remaining. 8 HP, putting me at 57.
All right, that is the bottom level of the fortress. There's a set of stairs over here which will lead to the top level of the fortress. That's the area that you have to traverse if you want to get up there. And that's where our adventurers are going to head off to next. Hit points, abilities, spells, items in hand. Fighter.
Fighter at 57 out of 57 HP. Have both my second wind and my action surge available. I have a great axe +1 in hand.
AzureWolf as the wizard. What do you got?
43 hit points. I am capped off completely. As for my spell slots, I have all 4 first level. I have 2 remaining second, 1 remaining third, and 4 charges on my wand left.
Rogue, what do you got?
44 at 44 HP, holding the +1 short bow. No short-term abilities to speak of.
LongFish is a cleric. Tell us about it.
51 hit points. I'm armed with my warhammer and my shield. I have 2 level 1 slots, 1 level 2, and 3 level 3 slots remaining, and both of my channeled abilities.
Got all those level 3 spots left. Monsters' abilities, items, and numbers. 1 Bulgara. Bulgara is like a demonic gorilla. Bulgara can cast some spells, has invisibility and disguise self, can entangle and use phantasmal force. They have the ability to attack recklessly. They can also take running leaps and jump up to 40 feet, so they have quite a jump distance. They have multi-attack, they have fists, and they can bite. They're very angry monsters. They also are demons. Drow are known to summon demons to serve them. They have the resistances that demons have: immunity to poison, resistant to cold and fire and lightning. They also have blind sights. They're going to fight incredibly well in darkness. They also have telepathy, so if you hear voices in your head, you'll at least know why. They have 40 feet of speed, 40 feet of climb. This guy's going to be a lot of fun. 2 Drow warriors riding 2 giant spiders. The giant spiders you know and love have the ability to spit webs. You guys haven't been hit by those yet, through no fault of me trying. The Drow warriors ride on top of them. You can kill the mounts, or you can kill the riders, and the other one will still continue to fight. The Drow warriors have short swords and crossbows. They're also Drow, so they can cast Fairy Fire and Darkness. Terrain and effects. The terrain here is a lot of clear terrain, which is quite obvious. A little bit of difficult terrain, which is in the places where it kind of looks like it might be difficult. And then a whole mess of dangerous terrain. It's not simply dangerous to stand in it. It's a 20-foot drop down to the area below if you, for whatever reason, wind up in the dangerous terrain. So it's a 2d6 bludgeoning damage on the fall. In addition, you'll wind up on another map and you have to run to get back up here. So I think less than the damage caused, it's going to cause you to lose a lot of time. That's the threat of falling off the fortress into the ground below. It is clear ground in that there's no enemies there because it's the area you just came from, but it is going to be quite a setback if you guys wind up losing your footing and going over the edge. That's what the dangerous terrain looks like. After the terrain is the tactics. What do you guys think?
I have some questions about line of sight.
Sure. Tell me about them.
Could one, if we are standing on the southernmost point of this map, draw straight line of sight to that spider and its rider to the southeast?
Yes, there's a completely unencumbered line of sight. This guy you'd have some cover to. He's actually large, so he wouldn't. Yeah, they are not going to get any cover, so you're going to take a sniper's nest from that spot in the south. That's smart. Yeah, that'll work.
I'm really thinking about it, yeah.
What about the rest of you?
That's kind of what I was thinking also, is that spot and just shooting.
If we do that, 1, we should pop Spiritual Guardians as early as possible so that we can not hurt our teammates against the inevitable darkness on that sniper's nest.
Yes.
Yep, sounds good.
The other thing that will happen is if I post up there, we will draw the demon to that sniper's nest, because I guarantee you he's going to be able to jump that.
Yup, 40-foot jump, baby.
And that's the problem, is you post up there, we can't cover you because they're going to darkness it. You're not going to be able to shoot out of it, and he's going to jump in and raffle stomp you.
Because he can see in that darkness.
Yeah. The thought was to take 1 or 2 shots at the spider and then run away.
Oh, for sure. Like, especially if we go first, we want to open with that. But I don't think you necessarily want to post up there. I think you guys want to stay accessible to the corridor so that you can run away from the Balgara.
Do we want to kill the spiders? Do we want to kill the drows? I think we need to kill the drows to end darkness period.
Definitely.
Tactics on dealing with that big guy, that's going to be the problem. If he can throw somebody down, that's going to cost us.
Cue Benny Hill music.
If we all just hold up, occupy that whole area, he can't jump over, right? He can't land on our square.
He has a climb speed, so he could actually just hang onto the wall and beat you while he's hanging onto the wall.
King Kong it.
Yeah, he can King Kong it, exactly. If you were able to block off enough distance, you could do that, yeah. Potion of growth, maybe.
Or spend a second level slot to enlarge one of you.
All right, any other thoughts, or are we going to kick it off?
It's going to come down to initiative.
Yes, it is.
Always does. Let's roll that guy up. Yeah, buddy. Who's got higher than a 20? Who's got between a 20 and a 15? I have an 18. Who's got between a 15 and a 10?
10 minus 1 for the clerk.
Who's got between a 10 and a 5?
Oh, a 6 on the owl.
The rogue also has a 6.
Who's got between a 5 and a 0?
3.
Fighter with 3 on a -1.
So then we're going to kick it off with my guys. The spider's going to move to here, and he's going to shoot a web at the cleric. Nat 20, baby. Unfortunately, it doesn't do any damage, but you are restrained. As an action, you can attempt a DC 12 strength check to break out. You can also attack the web at AC 10, and 5 hit points, vulnerable to fire, immune to bludgeoning, poisoning, and psychic damage. The drow on the top is going to take a shot at you. You're restrained, so he has advantage to hit you. and he's going to get a 20 to hit.
That will hit.
Please take 4 points of piercing damage and a Constitution save versus poison.
So I have advantage to that. That will be a 14.
You're going to pass, so you are not poisoned for an hour. You're just going to take that piercing damage. Then the spider's going to move to here and dodge, and then the rider is going to throw a fairy fire at this point right here. Owl, wizard, rogue, and fighter, please make dexterity saves, DC 11.
Fighter fails with 5.
Rogue passes with a 16.
14 and 14.
Okay, now the Bulgura is going to jump across there. He's going to dash, and he's going to land here. And that's all of my stuff. Hopefully I'm not feeding my demon to his inevitable demise. Cleric, what do you got for us?
Try to break the restraint.
Action to break the restraints.
Oh shoot, it's a full action. Nat 20. Oh, that's a great way to waste it.
That'll do it. What do you got after that?
Does radiant damage do anything special to demons or no?
Depends on the demon. In general, no. For the Bulgura specifically, also no.
I will bonus action a spiritual weapon at the drow that just threw the web at me.
Sounds good. Roll to hit.
24.
24 will connect.
And I will do 11 damage.
You good for movement, or are you going to move?
That's me.
After the cleric is the rogue.
Bonus action, hide behind the wizard. The Bulgura has blind sight, doesn't it?
It does.
What range is its blind sight out to?
30 feet.
And I cannot get anywhere useful because we are jammed up front.
You could get to the front here. I don't know that you want to stay there, but you could get there.
I don't want to stay there.
The fighter will probably run past you.
Nah, that's... Just go ahead and shoot the Bulgura, as is. No, that's a crit. It's unfortunate there's no sneak attack on this. For 13 points of damage. Yeah, that's my turn.
After that, we're going to go to the owl.
Let's aggravate it for the rogue. Get him away somewhere, probably to the west, in a safer area. And that's his turn.
After that, we go to AzureWolf.
If this works, this is going to be great. Gust of wind with the wind fan. Start of his turn, he makes a strength check. It's a DC 13.
So you're going to cast a gust of wind and try to knock him off the edge. If you pull this off, this is going to be amazing. That's an action. I'm imagining your movement's good there. After the wizard, we're going to go over to the fighter.
All right, since I don't wish to enter that gust of wind, I'm going to head north, and I will dodge here.
After that, we're going to go to the Bulgura. All right, here it is, all the marbles.
Start of turn, he has to make a DC 13 strength save, please.
Yeah, he's going to get a 19 to save.
Yeah, he's not going to fail a strength save. He's a giant monkey.
The plan was a 40% chance of success and a whole lot of benefit if it did work. So he's going to move into there. He's going to squeeze to get there, but he's going to reckless attack, which is going to cancel out the disadvantage. So here's the bite attack. That's going to be a 17 to hit you.
Shield.
Here's the first fist, 15, and the second fist, nat 1. But I got a shield out of you, so that might have been worth it. This spider over here is going to try to recharge his web. He's going to fail to do that. We're just going to walk away from that fighter. We don't need to get in a fight. I'm at long range for disadvantage. You're dodging for disadvantage, but I have advantage to hit you because of the fairy fire, so that'll cancel out nicely. I'll still take that shot. Let's get a nat 20 to hit you, fighter.
No crit damage.
This is fine. Take 5 points of piercing damage, please, and give me a Constitution save versus poison.
Big ol' 16 Constitution save.
All right, you are not poisoned for 1 hour. Over here, we're going to continue concentrating on fairy fire. We're also going to take a shot with the same rules about advantage and disadvantage. We have 60 as our max range. The spider's going to try to spit a web at you. It's going to get a 9, so it's not going to hit you. The crossbowman on top is going to get a nat 1 to hit you, so that's going to miss. That is everything I have. LongFish with the cleric. What do you got?
Running away. I will bonus action move a spiritual weapon for 20 feet towards Bulgura. I'll step out around the corner. Do I have line of sight on the spider?
Yeah, you got line of sight on this spider.
Alright, I'll guiding bolt the rider. 25 to hit
25 will connect.
for a total of 13 damage.
That is lethal.
I'll walk back west one.
After that, we go to Rogue.
Yeah, we're just going to shoot the Bulgura. 27.
27 will connect.
20 points of damage.
Anything else?
I think that's it. I think we're good there.
After that, we're going to go to the owl.
Same thing, let's give the rogue advantage again.
After the owl, AzureWolf.
Shocking grass. 23?
23 connects.
10 points of damage.
Not as effective as you hope, as it resists lightning damage, so it's only going to take the 5.
But you did shock the monkey.
Yep.
What do you got from that?
That's it for me.
After the wizard is the fighter, fair no equal.
We're just going to keep chasing these spiders. Move me 30 feet and dodge. And I no longer am subject to fairy fire.
After the fighter, we're going to go to the demon's turn. Spider up here is going to try to recharge its web. It's going to fail to do so. We're going to keep kiting you. Dash to there. You're dodging. The range disadvantage doesn't matter. We're going to get a 13 to hit you with the crossbow. That's going to miss. Spider's going to fail to recharge its web. I don't want to feed you the spider, but I don't have anything better to do. So the spider's going to stay here and dodge. There's no reason not to. After that is the Bulgura.
DC 13 strength, please.
He's going to pass it with a 20. We're going to hit the wizard again. 10 to hit you with a bite.
Negative.
9 to hit you with a fist.
Negative.
25 to hit you with a fist.
That's gonna connect.
Kindly take maximum of 14 bludgeoning damage
Wow.
and a concentration save.
It's a 20?
I don't feel like proccing, so we're going to stay right there. After that, we're going to go to the longfish on the cleric.
Move my spiritual weapon next to the Balgra. I'm just going to take a swing at that. 24 to hit.
24 will connect.
7 damage. I'm going to pop down there and drop a Sacred Flame on the Balgra as well.
He's going to fail.
9 damage. And I will walk back up to where I was.
After the cleric, we're going to go to BlindOracle on the rogue.
Shoot him with the bow. At advantage. 18.
18 will connect.
13.
All set. Anything else?
Move me north 1 square. That is my turn.
After the rogue is the owl.
Aggravate him again for the rogue. Move back.
Wizard.
Magic missile level 1. That's a 4.
4 times 3 is 12. He has 1 hit point, so he drops. What else you got?
Gonna drop con on that wind fan.
Sounds good.
And let's start making our way up that bridge there, the land bridge.
After that, we go to Fear No Equal.
I will continue to dodge at them menacingly while walking towards them.
After that, we're going to go to my turn.
Don't forget your recharge rolls.
Fails that one. Spider's going to move to here and to try to bite you. It's got disadvantage because you're dodging. Oh, I did this in the very much the wrong order. The drow is going to throw... Fairy Fire you're going to save against.
I haven't saved against Fairy Fire once.
Right, but you could potentially save against, right? I spent an action and you could save against it and I don't get any benefit. Because it's only one target, right? If it was multiple targets, it would make sense. I'm going to spend my action to aid this spider in attacking you, giving it advantage. This spider's going to move to here. He now has advantage to cancel your disadvantage. He's going to get a nat 1 to hit you. Well, that was fun.
Tactical recommendation. If he's going to spend his action, maybe he should Darkness, because that at least gives general advantage.
Giant spiders have blind sight. That is smart, yeah. I should have done that. If I survive, I will try that next time. Cleric.
Move my spiritual weapon across, and I'm going to run 25 feet. I'll dash myself.
Stubby little cleric legs.
After the cleric is the BlindOracle.
Hide bonus action. This does something now. 24.
24 will do it.
I would like to move to the southeast as much as possible and shoot the rider on the far side with advantage. 24 to hit the rider.
That'll connect.
15 points of damage.
15 points of damage. That's exactly what you need to drop him. After that, we go to the owl.
Let's see what the distance is to one of those spiders.
It is 13 squares. You only have 12.
So let's get to as far as I can in no man's land.
I guess they could shoot you with a web. Do you want to hang out in the tunnel?
Would they be able to see down?
Yeah, they can see down.
Okay, then yes, the tunnel.
After the owl, we go to the AzureWolf.
Move up on the land bridge and fire. Fire bolt, because it's got the longer range. That's not going to do it with a 10.
10 is not going to hit, unfortunately.
And then kind of move back.
After the AzureWolf is the Fear No Equal.
I continue to dodge menacingly. They have to get by me, so I'll at least get the opportunity attack, and I don't particularly want them to hit me.
After that, we're going to go to my turn. Let me recharge. I successfully recharge. I'm disadvantaged to hit you anyway. No way to scrape you off. We'll just attack you with disadvantage. Double threes, that's going to be a 7 to hit you. That's obviously going to fail. The other guy is going to do the same thing. He's going to recharge his web as well. He's going to get an 18 with disadvantage.
Hey, that'll hit.
Kindly take 11 points of piercing damage and a constitution save.
Ooh, which I fail.
So take an additional 13 points of poison damage. After my spiders, I'm going to go on to the longfish.
Yeah, roll my spiritual weapon across.
Almost there.
And I will throw a Sacred Flame at the spider on the right.
Spider on the right is going to get an 18.
He's fine.
Excuse me, 19.
He's very fine. And I'll stay there.
After the cleric, we go to the BlindOracle.
Spiders have blind sight, yeah?
They do, but only up to 10 feet.
Oh, yeah, I'll take the hide action. 27 to hide from the spider.
27 will hide.
Now we're going to pop out and shoot the spider. Ooh, no we are not. Does it 12 hit?
12 is not going to connect.
Then we'll pop back around the corner.
After the rogue is the owl,
Get over there and aggravate.
Who's the beneficiary?
Me going into the room below.
Underneath the tunnel. That's interesting, yeah. Maybe I could just climb down there because I can climb, but you cannot be seen, and also there's a guy there. After the owl, we go to the AzureWolf.
Move up, firebolt with advantage. That is a 19.
19 will connect.
Drop the 1, that's nice. 10 points of fire damage, and move back.
After the wizard is the Fear No Equal.
Alright, I'm actually going to have to hit one of these guys, because I think it's better to reduce if I can kill one of them. So we are going to take a swing at the southern one on the left, which I believe has taken more damage. And that's a 16 to hit.
Yep.
For 15 damage. Second attack, and that's a 13 to hit.
13 is going to miss.
Yep. Dice are insane tonight.
Anything else?
Nope, we're gonna stick it out.
Back to the spiders. All right, they're going to attack normally, because I don't think webbing with disadvantage is going to just be a waste. So here's the normal attack, 22 to hit you.
That'll hit.
They're going to do 4 points of piercing and a constitution save of DC 11.
Pass.
So you're only going to take half of the 9 turns to 4 points of poison. Other spider's going to try to do the same thing. He's going to get an 11 to hit you.
That'll miss.
Going to move to there. After that, we're going to go to Cleric.
Bring the hammer into the closer one. Let's whack it.
Have you considered making your spiritual weapon a rolled up newspaper?
Let's see. 14
14 connects.
for 6 damage.
6 damage is lethal.
And I will Sacred Flame the other one.
He's going to pass with a 21.
Alright.
After that, we go to BlindOracle.
Try this again. Hide action. That was overkill. 30. Try and shoot the spider. 28.
28 hits.
14 points. Pop back around the corner.
Brings us back to the owl.
Out of the tunnel, aggravate for me, back down.
After the owl is the AzureWolf.
Firebolt dance, here we go. 16,
16 connects.
and 17 points of fire damage.
17 points is lethal, and that will drop the final spider. Report hit points.
20 out of 57.
29 out of 43.
44 of 44 hit points.
47 out of 51.
Are there any end of encounter actions?
Arrow recovery.
Would appreciate a little HP.
Anyone need Channel Divinity?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So that'll put me at 28. Healed for 8. Now that he's done that, I'm going to Second Wind for 14.
That is the first encounter of the top of the fortress. There's a single encounter left before the drow have been repelled from their stronghold, and the surface is safe for their raids. Hit points, ability spells, items in hand, Fear No Equal.
42 of 57 hit points on Fear No Equal. We have Action Surge still available. Second Wind has been used. +1 Great Axe in hand.
Wizard.
29 out of 43 hit points. I have 2 first level slots left, 2 second level slots, 1 third level slot, and 4 charges on the wand remaining.
Rogue.
44 of 44 hit points. Holding the +1 short bow.
Cleric.
47 out of 51 hit points, holding Warhammer and Shield. I have 1 level 1 and 3 level 3 spell slots, and I have 1 Channel Divinity left.
Monster abilities, items, and numbers. So this encounter is the final encounter of the Drow raiding post. You're fighting a Mezzoloth, which is a Yugoloth, a mercenary fiend that the Drow have recruited to their cause. They resist cold, fire, lightning, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing damage from non-magical attacks. They're immune to acid and poison. They're immune to the poison condition. They have blind sight out to 60 feet. They have telepathy of 60 feet, so if you hear voices in your head, you're going to know why. They can dispel magic. They can cast Cloud Kill. They can resist magic, so they get advantage on their saving throws against magic and other magical effects. They have magic weapons, which is a trident that can do piercing damage. They also have their own claws. They can teleport around as an action if they want to do that, although I found in the past that that's probably not very helpful. 2 Drow warriors, 2 giant spiders being ridden by the Drow warriors in typical cavalry formation. You can shoot the spiders, you can shoot the riders. If you kill one, the other one remains. Drow warriors have Drow abilities. They have hand crossbows. They have short swords. They also have the fairy fire and darkness spells that they can cast. Giant spiders can spit webs on you to restrain you. They can also do poisonous bites. Let's take a look at terrain. It's close confines, difficult terrain, a lot of open, clear terrain to fight on, but then there's the drop area on the side. So if you get knocked out, it's a 20-foot drop, so that's a 2d6 points of bludgeoning damage when you hit the ground. You'll also have to run all the way back, and it's quite a distance. You'll have to go through a total of 3 encounters. Now, they're all clear because you've cleared them out, but if you get knocked out there, then it's going to take a lot of time off your ability to return. Tactics. What do you guys think for tactics?
Let's use those spell slots.
Yep, I was going to say, this is going to come down to initiative.
Open with Fireball if we can.
Yeah. If not, do you think it's worth keeping it for the counterspell? Or just burn the 2 drow out as fast as possible?
Burn the drow out. I don't think the Mezzoloth can cast.
He can,
He's got Cloud Kill.
and that is not something that we particularly want to encounter.
Yeah, it might be better off saving the wizard's level 3 for counterspell.
If we can get it off the get-go, use the fireball, because you can take out both the drow and the spiders with that. But if you don't get it before them, then save it for the counterspell.
Yeah, because I have Shatter also as an AoE, so that's always a backup.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good for me.
And we definitely want to try and get in close and Spirit Guardians them.
Yeah, if I can get close enough, I'll do Spirit Guardian.
And since I know that you hang on to those cure wounds, I might need one at some point, because I'm going into this relatively low health. Not, like, terribly low.
Do you need a potion?
No, I do have some potions, it's just if I go down.
He also has Channel Divinity, which will bring you up by a lot. Any other thoughts? Are we ready to go?
I think we're ready to go.
May the initiative gods be on our side.
Let's do this. Oh, the initiative gods have favored you.
No, they haven't.
Maybe.
Who got higher than a 20? Who's got between a 20 and a 15?
Alistair Crowley's got a 17.
Who's got between a 15 and a 10?
I had a 13.
Rogue has an 11.
Who's got between a 10 and a 5?
Cleric has a 7 -1.
Between a 5 and a 0. 2 for the Mezzalon.
I got a 1.
Al is going to start us off.
Let's get him to move up. He can fly on top of that tower there, right? Because I don't really want to get into the spider's range just yet.
If you move out of the cleric's range, it's going to be susceptible to Spirit Guardians. Want him back here?
Yeah, just put dodge up.
Wizard.
Fireball. DC 15 dex, please. And the damage is going to be 21 total.
That is low for a fireball.
Yeah, I had 3 ones.
Means the spiders are definitely going to survive. 21 or 10. The Northern Spider Cavalry Mount is going to get a 17, so he's going to pass and take 10. Northern Rider is going to get a 14, which is going to fail, so he's going to take all that damage and die. Eastern Cavalry Mount, the mount is going to get a 13 and take all 21 points. The Rider is going to get a 17 and only take half. The Mezzalon has advantage because it has magic resistance. It's going to fail. It's going to take 21 points, but it resists fire damage, so it's going to take 10. Anything else?
Just look disappointed.
After the Wizard is the Rogue.
Can I see the Eastern Rider from where I'm standing?
Yep.
We're gonna hide behind the fighter as a bonus action. Pretty sure a 30 will do it.
Probably, yeah.
And then we are going to attempt to shoot the Spider Rider. 25.
25 will hit.
Come on, finish him off.
That's good damage.
Pity it's all wasted.
I know, but put down is put down.
Yep.
Yeah, true.
23 points of damage.
23 points of damage will be lethal to that guy.
Move 1 east.
After the Rogue is the Cleric.
Yeah, I'll cast Spirit Guardian. We're just waiting for them to come to us, right?
No, honestly, we should separate because of that cloud kill.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move south like 5 spaces. Yeah, that should catch both of them.
Nice.
Alright, that's all I can do.
After the Cleric is the enemy turn. Give me some Western Spider damage.
13?
He's going to fail the Wisdom save and take all 13 of it. But it's not enough to kill him, so he's still alive. You're not dodging. You're not going to get another chance at this spider. Let's just do the damage. He's going to charge in there, and he's going to try to bite you. That was really dumb. He's going to get a 7 to hit.
Nope.
Instead of taking all of this damage, the Mezzaloth is going to cast Dispel Magic on your Spirit Guardians. It's a level 3 spell. It is just immediately dispelled. And then he's going to retreat into there. Now the second spider is going to move. This is a much smarter play, so now I don't have to take the damage. He's going to move up and try to attack you. He's going to get a 21 to hit.
That will hit.
Kindly take 5 points of piercing damage and a DC 11 Constitution save against poison.
15.
15 is going to pass, so you're going to take half of this 13, which turns into 6. That's all 3 of my guys. After that is the fighter.
Move me up to directly behind the cleric, and we're going to swing at one of them.
Oh, nice position.
We'll go after West. That is a crit
Okay.
for 17 damage.
West is going to drop.
And we're going to swing at East for our second one, and that is 12 to hit.
No.
We're going to action surge.
Yeah, you are.
Does a 22 hit him
It does.
for 13 damage?
13 damage lethal.
Nice. Good job.
And then I'm going to advance around the cleric.
After the fighter, we're going to head over to the owl.
Let's start bringing him down into range here, but sticking to the outside here.
After the owl, we go to the wizard.
Move down into firing range.
Okay. You don't have line of sight, unfortunately, but you are within range.
Doesn't matter, because I know he's up there, right? Shatter.
Oh, you hit him with a shatter. Interesting. Okay, cool. Tell me about your shatter.
10-foot radius centered on a point that I choose. It's a DC 15 con.
He's going to pass. He has magic resistance and a +3 con, so he's going to get an 18.
Yeah, and the damage was crap this round. 4.
4 points is going to turn into 2. Anything else for the wizard?
That's about all I got.
Rogue.
Move me up to to behind the cleric. So a question on elevations and line of sight. He is inside that tower. That tower is elevated, I presume, or no?
Only a little bit.
Oh, we just got in a bad position.
And he has blind sight, I believe you said?
He does. He has 60 feet of blind sight.
I'm going to shoot him. I got to be outside that. That's tough.
I don't know if you want to be standing there either.
Nope, because a cloud kill. Move me into the tower. Dash bonus action to get there. And then take the dodge action.
After the rogue is the cleric.
How close can I get? Can I get within 3 squares of him? Alright, I'll cast Spirit Guardian again.
Smart plan. He's going to have to take the damage. This is going to be dangerous to the rogue because you cannot see the rogue.
Oh,
Don't worry about it. I'm not going to be anywhere near you.
and that's it.
The Mesloth is next, so he's going to immediately have to take the damage. He does resist this because he is resistant to magic. It's a wisdom save, which he's going to get a 15 to pass. He's going to take some damage, though.
13 turns into 6.
Sounds good. He's going to step out, cast a spell magic on you, gets rid of the Spirit Guardians, and he's going to head back to there.
Keep making him waste that turn.
Well, I'm burning spell slots each time. We're going to see which runs out first. My turns are your spell slots.
Yep.
You have done some damage, though, so it may have been worth it. After that, we go to Fear No Equal.
We are going to advance and dodge.
After that, we go to the Owl.
So let's get up to the edge of the tower there.
After the Owl is the Wizard.
Let me move down a little bit because then he'll be in my line of sight to the south some. Magic missile.
Magic Missile always hits.
Oh, yeah. Let's use 3 charges. And your missile damage is 5.
Anything else?
Yeah, let's get back out of his line of sight.
After the Wizard, we go on to the Rogue.
So I have to take the dash bonus action first. Move 5 south. I guess I have to move like 3 south. Take the shot with the bow. 19.
19 will connect. Pierces through the natural armor.
10 points of damage. Magical.
Magical damage is what you need.
And then I'd like to move 2 diagonal.
After the Rogue is the Cleric.
Move me, and I will pop my final Spirit Guardian.
And I am out of Dispel Magic, so... Anything else?
That's me.
So I'm going to take a save at the beginning of my turn. Wisdom save. He's only going to get a 12, even with his advantage.
Take 17.
Alright, well, we're going to drop Cloud Kill then.
I knew it was coming.
20-foot radius sphere of poisonous yellow-green fog centered on a point you choose within range. So we're going to go right there to hit all of you, and we are immune to poison, so that's perfect. The fog seeps around corners, lasts for the duration or until a strong wind disperses the fog, ending the spell. When a creature enters the spell or starts its turn there, it makes a Constitution save versus 5d8 poison damage and moves 10 feet away from you at the start of your turn. He doesn't need to move anywhere because he can see that spot. After the Mesloth is the fighter. Fighter, you start your turn. Go ahead and give me a Constitution save.
23.
23 is going to pass. You're only going to take half of this. Kindly take 27 points of poison damage, halved to 13.
I really appreciate that minor heart attack there. And then I am going to move in and attack him. First attack, 19 to hit,
19 hits.
14 to kill.
14 is lethal, and the Mesloth drops. And that is the final encounter. They have cleared all of the drow from the raiding post. The raids on the surface will end, and the people will be safe. Same question as always, gentlemen. What was the easiest?
Number 1.
Big scary monster and all, what made this one the easiest?
I think it was the only challenge here was the movement and like having to do the cover weaving thing, but apart from that, it wasn't too much of a threat, at least in my opinion.
3 longbow shots for 2d8 damage each for a person who can move around and climb all over the terrain wasn't problematic.
I wouldn't say this was the easiest. It was certainly not that difficult. I don't think it was the easiest. There wasn't much happening to us. Like, I took a huge chunk of damage, but I was pretty much the only one.
I took a bunch of damage in this one too, but I could have avoided that by just laying down, which I thought about it when it was way too late.
It felt like you guys had a self-imposed no-leveled spells in this fight. Do you think that made it more difficult, or you think like that just would have been win more?
For starters, we didn't do that. We dropped shield, we dropped guiding bolt. If we had self-imposed that, this might still have been a fairly easy fight, but as it was, we just sort of cooked him off.
I thought number 2 was the easiest because once the fireball blew up, they were just like, alright, bye spiders.
That's what made that one the easiest, but if that fireball wouldn't have went off, that fight could have been a lot worse.
I wouldn't rate this one easiest either. The only reason this one was particularly easy was because we got some long-range enemies who walked into a fireball that they should not have.
The spiders want to do something, right? Like, the goal is to do as much damage as possible, but as many of the adventures in the ground as I can. With that in mind, I have spider attacks. What am I going to do with them? Standing back and just making sure that they survive into the next round of combat so they can recharge their webs. I mean, it's not terrible, but the mobility that they add, right? Being able to come around here and go after the rogue because you guys can't block him. That's what I was thinking, but who am I going to shoot at? that, right? They're surrounded by cover. In cover, the wizard's AC is functionally 22, the highest in the group, and then the cleric is dodging, so that's a 19 at disadvantage. Yours actually one of the easier ones, and then the rogue is almost impossible to see. So even standing back, you guys take good use of cover, and I can't really get to you.
If they stand back, they live longer and they inflict more damage just because of the fireball risk specifically. We had a lot of low health mooks. Because they would die instantly to a fireball, they should never be clumped up where a fireball can hit that many of them.
Quaggoth's got like 45 hit points. They're not low health.
The Quaggoths actually aren't the ones I mean. Because the spiders and the drow are separate hit point pools, and because they can't move independently, so you can't send the spiders in while leaving the drow out, the cavalry were actually a huge liability here, which they historically haven't been.
The hit point pool is a thing, but it also means it's a give and a take. I can get a lot of mobility. I can move a lot of actions very quickly. I can get them to wherever I need them to go very quickly and have those actions arrive. So I spend one action and both creatures get to get there. The trade-off for that is very much that, like, well, if you get hit with an AoE, they're both going down.
The thing that worked in our favor on this one is that you rushed us. If you had slowed this fight down some, made us come off the back rope and reposition, one, it takes away the option of the wizard casts fireball and removes our problems for us. Two, it allows you to play to the strength of the spider rider combo, because together they have a lot of tools for dealing with high armor. Restrain via the web from the spider. Spiders get advantage off of the rider throwing fairy fire, while the spider and the rider paired are still pretty fragile. If someone fails one of the saves against poison, poison's a terrible condition. Disadvantage on everything sucks. You have options. Fairy fire, hit the web. Now we poison you so you can never get out of the web and you're restrained, and we just maul piece at a time. You can see where the combo is appealing, but to get that to work, you need to give that combo time, because it means that the rider needs to take a turn to drop fairy fire and then stay alive. So ideally, you move in range, drop fairy fire, the mount pulls the rider back out. Okay, you're fairy fired next turn, the spider takes its shot with the web. If it misses, it's no big deal. Maybe the rider takes a shot with the crossbow, and you reload and you play tag with us. That has some other disadvantages, right? We have more damage on tap than anything on your side of the table. If you get caught, you're down a piece. It's tough.
There is a combo that I could use with the spider riders that I never did, which is spiders move forward, prep an action to move back once the rider shoots. Rider shoots, triggers the readied action, spider moves back 30 feet. They are separate units, right? I can't split up their actions and their movement across other people's turns, which is the benefit of having somebody who is one unit, right? If you have two separate entities, they have to take their turns separately, whereas if you have a single entity, it gets to go all together. That would be a tactic that I should have explored, and I use these cavalry units all the place. If I remember, I will do that in the future, but jump in, shoot, jump back is something I should try to explore doing better to get you guys out of cover, because the only thing I can do to spook you out of cover is to charge around and flank you, which the Quaggoths are really good, right? You guys have very narrow avenues that you can move into without a climb speed or without an athletics check. I figured I was going to spook the rogue, because I've done that in the past. I've gotten you guys to skitter by throwing somebody into the back line, and they're like, all right, well, we're going to run away, which is never really a smart thing for you guys to do, but it's definitely something you guys have done in the past.
The enemies need to put the onus of action on us. We tend to get mobbed pretty much as soon as the fight starts, and a lot of times we wind up here where we are, bunkered down wherever we started, because the enemies got to us before we could move out. We know how that goes and what the tactics of it are.
Could use my AoEs like I used Shatter in that last one, how I just threw it in the area. Fireball will wrap around corners. You can use AoEs that way to hit those targets that do not want to come out.
What was the hardest fight?
From a strict resource expenditure perspective, I don't necessarily mean like total HP loss. The last fight is where you got the most out of us. 4 level 3s out of the deal. You got the action surge out of the fighter. You got a level 2 out of the wizard. So just from a raw expenditure perspective, this fight taxed us the most. I also think we JRPG'd this a little bit, where you save all your resources at the end and we knew it was the end.
I was going to nominate this for the easiest fight.
You had 4 level 3 spells going into this, so it's like, well, this one's going to be cakewalk.
This was a stomp because we opened with a fireball that hit everybody, and then we just blew out all of our resources on this, and there was nowhere for them to go and no way for them to avoid it. I would nominate the Barlgura fight for actually more challenging, because there were more tactical choices to be made there. Facing down the demon, having to deal with the spiders at range and the drow at range.
LongFish, do you think so?
If you rush the spiders in the Balgora fight down the alleyway, I probably would have popped Spirit Guardians early. You ran the spiders away so I could just turn around and spell the Balgora to death.
He definitely wanted to throw somebody off the cliff.
I was going to say, doesn't he have that grab and throw thing?
No, he doesn't have grab and throw. He has the same grab abilities that everybody else has, which is to say grapple and shove. For a demonic gorilla, he is surprisingly lacking at the ability to throw people around.
And we couldn't use AoE in this fight. Not effectively.
What do you mean?
They were all spaced very widely apart. There was no opportunity to fireball. There was no opportunity to spiritual guardians. Our enemies are all in different places, and there's no sort of efficiency advantage to AoE shots.
I feel like you fed the Balgaroth to us on this one. When you jammed him in there and had him squeeze.
Well, yes and no, because you're going to get advantage regardless. I'm not giving you anything you don't already have. The wizard is going to get advantage against him. The cleric, it's not really the DPS, so the only person I'm giving advantage to at that point is the fighter, and the fighter isn't in a position to fight him.
Either you were going to kill the wizard and the rogue with the Balgaroth, or you were going to buy time with the Balgaroth while the spiders chase people around. You made it so that I got advantage every turn when I was shooting him, and that the wizard could just kind of maybe try the wind wall thing, which if that had worked, that would have been amazing.
Yes, it would have.
It's one of those things, like, okay, that piece is now committed to this course of action of chasing the wizard and the rogue, when the Balgaroth doesn't seem capable of connecting regularly with the wizard, and at the same time is getting return damage of equal or greater value against it every turn.
I would say he's getting less than he normally would get. Normally he would get a lot higher damage, right, if he was fighting all four of you. I can't hit the wizard, that's certainly true, but the wizard actually has the highest AC in the party, right? His AC is 20, but every time I do that, I get a spell out of him. And that's really what I need to do. The only way I'm going to get the wizard is if I can get all of his spell slots out of him or make him functionally impotent. For me, that is actually like potentially more damage in the future if I can drain spell slots out of the wizard. Because that's something I'll do is I'll hit the wizard once, get a shield out of him, and then switch targets to somebody else until the next turn, which was the goal. So let's talk specific tactics. The first one, the tactic was to box them in. Now, obviously that didn't happen. Do you guys still think it was a good idea, or did trying to duel this guy at range work out better?
I personally think from my end, going prone and just staying at range would have been the smart move here.
Although she has enough mobility, she may have been able to close on you and then eat you when you were on the ground.
My note here was that I specifically committed to trying to flank her, and then the wizard dropped south, gave her a nice big target, and she ran away to go ahead and prioritize the smaller, squishier target. And that cost us both a shield and the wizard some health. And I think if he had just stayed prone and readied an action when she got dragged into the kill box of me and the rogue and the cleric, then it would have probably saved us the shield, and he would have come up with the same amount of damage.
Your attempt to bait her, I was just like, that's never going to work. There's no reason that she would want to go after a dodging fighter.
The flip side of it is she had no other targets available. Everybody else was covered or out of sight.
No, with her mobility, she can always pick a different target. You guys can't stay covered from her forever. Even the rogue, like I can run around behind whatever the rogue is covering behind and then attack. It might be a melee attack at that point. She can jump all the rivers. She can climb over the crystals.
In my notes, that's the one thing I got for this fight, is that tactically it was hard to find cover at times.
Taking cover around larger objects means more mobility, right? You're like, oh, I'm going to take cover from her behind this thing. I'm going to jump out here and try to shoot and then run back. It's just like, okay, well, I'm going to move to here, and now you're only a little bit of cover, and then one more turn and you have nothing. It's very hard to play Ring Around the Rosie with larger pieces of terrain versus something a lot smaller. The other thing is the distance between them, right? The further away you are, the larger the radius is, the larger circumference that you have to move to get around somebody. Second fight, this one was choke point them at the crystals.
There were no choke points on this map. I didn't understand why people were saying we were going to choke point them, because there aren't any choke points here. The only choke points are maybe that staircase or on the northeast.
Did you guys know that these guys have climb speeds?
I did not catch that.
I missed that part.
When that first one climbed up that rock, I even was like, oh no.
Kind of worked to our advantage, though.
Even if you had choke point them in a different spot where your backline wasn't more vulnerable, you guys could have done the same thing. Because these guys were only ever going to mob you. Unless you all split up, right? Which would be a terrible plan. These guys were only ever going to mob you. They only have melee attacks. They have great mobility, so...
I did have one tactical note here, which was just a spell choice. It was the wizard who used a magic missile in one spot where I think a shatter would have hit 3 targets, and he used it as an upcast magic missile. And I think it was a spell slot magic missile, not the wand. Shatter was probably a more efficient use.
That's when I was trying to hit that spider when he was southeast more.
Shatter's a 20-foot diameter box. You would have hit like a Quaggoth and 2 spiders.
I just want to add, I regret every single spiritual weapon I cast in this session. And every time I cast, like, everything's dead in the next turn.
Basically, after level 3, you will always regret casting Spiritual Weapon. The only thing you'll regret more is not casting it.
For the third one, the point was choke points, potion of growth. Obviously, that didn't happen. Still have the potion of growth. This doesn't seem like a fight you want at choke point, right? Like, he's actually pretty good in combat. Although I suppose that's one of the advantages of the choke point is you're like, yeah, well, he's not going to get his melee attacks on anybody who can't take them.
Drow are also trickier to choke point because of the darkness. It's pretty difficult to take advantage of a choke point when he can just darkness you and then wander around behind you and try and kill your squishies.
Or just blind fire into the darkness while you guys stand there and take it.
Yeah, if we could have choke pointed 2 sides, then, that would have worked. But as it happened, have you considered going first as a tactic? That's always a good one.
Fireball go burr.
Fireball go burr. This was the first one where the suggestion was made to cast Spirit Guardians. Why didn't it happen? Was it because of the darkness? I just dropped darkness on you and then you didn't have a chance?
Yeah, I was just like, oh, you caught the entire party. You basically have to wait until everybody steps out of it. That's why I try to run out of the darkness to see other people.
The notes that I have are clear trash, then Spirit Guardians stick together. Do you guys felt like you stick together appropriately or no?
Yeah, I think we stayed pretty close.
Other than sort of the initial split from the darkness, which because we didn't know about the spiders, you walked away from it and moved back with me. And we stuck together more or less throughout it, especially once the spiders were the only real opponents.
Of the actual encounters tonight, I feel like we executed this one the best.
Yeah. Also, it was a fun one. I think this was the most fun encounter we had.
I agree. Playing this was a lot of fun, not because I did especially well with it, but the idea of having phase spiders jump out of the darkness, especially at a higher level. Like, phase spiders at CR3 can be very dangerous because they have the opportunity to double tap. But at higher levels, they're not dangerous. They're just fun. Jump in, attack somebody, jump back out. They also have insane mobility.
I also like this map. This map felt the most accessible and fair both ways, right? They could shoot us, we could shoot them. They had stuff to hide behind, we had stuff to hide behind. They could fishhook us, we could rush them down. Like, I felt like this map and the way it's laid out against this encounter was the most interactive.
And there was no bunkering here, because the spiders would get behind us. So, this was a situation where, maybe bunkering is the best tactic, but we couldn't do it. So we had to go out and get into the middle of things, and that meant that we had much more interesting choices, I think, about where to go and who to cover.
Do you think that was because of the starting darkness? First thing I did, drop darkness on the entire party. You guys have to walk out towards them.
Also because the spider could get behind. Otherwise, we could just walk out the backside and loop around the end and ignore the darkness. But because the spiders had the mobility to get behind us and there wasn't just a wall there, I think that gave it a lot more interesting movement.
And there's also the predicament where, let's say we stick the fighter on one end and the cleric on the other end. That's 4 drow with poison. They will eventually pincushion that tank. They will eventually get poisoned. We will eventually fail a save. Eventually what will happen is you will start to see some breakdown from the players. Now we're expending resources to cover and bridge the gap between a failed save and being at disadvantage for the rest of the encounter. Or longer, right? Depending on where it falls in the rest cycle. Sitting there and bunkering up on this one wasn't a real option. It was an option, but it was going to be a bad option over time.
Poison is a bad condition to have in the moment, but poison is solved by a level 2 lesser restoration, which is automatically prepped by a life cleric. So poison is actually not that disastrous. As much as you don't like spiritual weapon or don't like the situations where it dropped, you're going to love lesser restoration when it gets rid of a poison off of somebody. On the wrong person, like on a rogue, it's like, well, you're going to have disadvantage on every single shot. Goodbye to all of your sneak attack now and forever. The fifth one was Sniper Nest, Avoid Darkness, and another attempt for Spirit Guardians. Now that one didn't happen here either. So why no Spirit Guardians in this fight?
Like I said, the spiders ran away.
So you didn't want to use it against the demon. Because my thought was you pop it in here, and if they try to get into you, they're going to be at disadvantage for the squeeze. They're going to be at the slow movement. You'll effectively stop this guy from going anywhere. Not just bottleneck him, completely grind his movement to a halt.
I think it was after 2 turns, he was basically grinded to a halt anyway.
Well, he was hitting people, right? He didn't need to move. He just kept punching the wizard, getting those spell slots out.
The cleric was doing damage more or less just as efficiently. He could have gotten a little bit more, but I don't think that he was going to get any sort of more efficient damage out of Spirit Guardians than Sacred Flaming each turn for no resources. And the spiders weren't like interfering at that point. I was dodging at them menacingly.
They can hit occasionally, though. I like the notes on this because the notes on the previous two were use Spirit Guardians. The next one is use Spirit Guardians. This one is just use spells. The Mezzaloth with Cloud Kill didn't hurt that much, only because there wasn't enough time for it to hurt much.
I would say he needed to pop that a lot earlier.
Yes or no, because I was thinking you got 1 counterspell and 3 dispel magics. Should it actually have been popped earlier?
Maybe. My suggestion to the wizard was going to be, do we have another charge on the fan? Because the fan could just push the Cloud Kill away at that point.
Yes and no. I could use it, but it has a chance to break.
If it hadn't already been used, that definitely would have been the way to go. Knowing that I'm staring down the barrel of 3 dispel magics, right? Not that 3 matters. 1 is sufficient. I guess you'd have to test against them because they are cloud kills. You got to hit a 15 on a +4. So you got to get 11s, 50-50 shots. It takes 2 of them, 3 to secure it. And that's 3 actions. So if it took 3 actions, 3 spells less to get down, definitely would have been worth it. But it could also drop on the first one on the 50-50 shot.
Just as much damage as it does, if you had the opportunity to lay it down earlier, it would have been worth it. Because as it was, we didn't have to blow anything on it. We just poked him in the head and it was gone. That Cloud Kill can be an anti-Spirit Guardians if it cancels his concentration.
Yeah, it can be, but it's not like against him, right? He's resistant to poison, resistant to the save. He makes the save, and then he's resistant to poison. He takes a quarter of that. So he's just looking at a DC 10. Again, he's a dwarf. He's going to pass.
As you said, if your objective is to put us on the ground, get some damage out earlier.
I only have 1 of those per day. So if I throw my 1, you guys dispel it, you counterspell it. And the other thing is, like, let's say the dispel fails, the counterspell fails. At that point, it's a 20-foot radius, sure, but it's entirely predictable motion. So you can just walk around it, and I can't control where it moves. I mean, I kind of can if I have the mobility to do that, but I don't really.
If you bum rush into us and then just drop that Cloud Kill at the front,
Oh, yeah, because I'm immune to it, so I can stand next to it.
then we have to spend at least 1 turn to run out of it, if not more.
And 2 of you can't hurt him, because if he drops it on top of himself, or right behind him and says, come get me, you have to charge into it.
Yeah, it's also heavily obscured.
Well, that just means you're not throwing an advantage.
And this is a fairly mobility limited area. If you drop it so it's going to go down those stairs that we were initially standing in, you gotta go through it to come out of it. If the Mezzaloth decides to go stand in those stairs, not only do you have to go through it, you gotta go by the Mezzaloth.
As he mentioned, it's heavily obscured, so I don't get attacks of opportunity.
Doesn't he have blindside?
Oh, you're right. That would be the tactic, is drop the cloud on yourself and then just jump into melee combat, because it moves 5 feet away from him, but it's from the center. It's 1 step away to direct it wherever I want it to go. Yeah, that's smart.
That blindside tactic came up with the spiders too in darkness. That was one of the things that you weren't doing that you probably could have used to your advantage a little bit better.
Yes and no, the phase spiders don't have dark vision.
No, the regular spiders.
Then the tactic is hit them with darkness, throw the spiders into combat. I guess you guys are at disadvantage to hit, which is painful for the rogue, but they have, what, AC?
They have AC pants.
8-legged pants, which is slightly better than regular pants, but still.
14 for the giant spiders is actually not bad. For the fighter, that's a 5 to hit. 5 to hit on disadvantage is definitely doable. For the cleric, it's a 7 to hit, which is definitely doable.
The big thing, though, is it turns off my damage.
Yes, your damage, but you always have another target.
That's true.
I suppose the advantage for the spiders jump into combat now, they have advantage, because they only have a +4 to hit.
I feel like cavalry, at least in your current incarnation, has started to run its course. Like, it was very effective at 1 through 4, and even at 5, but I think 3 fireballs, 4 including Arcane Recovery, because they're just taking such a total hit point penalty and we have AoE available, I think they're going to start becoming less efficient than bigger creatures with better abilities who are not as susceptible to AoE.
I don't know that I agree with you on the premise. I think the mistake there is my positioning of them.
It allows you to use that slot.
Yeah, well, it burns the slot, first of all. And if I could get you to throw a fireball at CR 1/4 monsters, giant spiders are CR 1, the drow riders are CR 1/4.
That's CR 2.5 or whatever.
500 experience out of 2,300 experience worth of enemies. So that's my budget. So I'm spending, what, 20%?
With the fireball being also a decreasingly small portion of the wizard's budget as well. As long as you drop 1 efficient fireball, it's generally worth.
Yes or no, because fireball is not actually guaranteed to kill them, right? If we were talking about kobolds and you're like, not even a successful save will allow them to survive. If you roll too low, and it doesn't even have to be that low, if you roll 3 points too low, below average on a fireball, the spiders are guaranteed to live, even if they fail their save.
We saw my last cast of fireball because I hit 3 once.
But generally, your expected value is 28.
Your expected value is 28. They have 26 hit points. So you roll a 25, which is not too low, and even a failed save, they're going to make it out. And I just burned your level 3 spell on 500 experience worth of monsters. I don't think having trash for you to clear is actually a bad use of my resources. At a certain point, it becomes a bad use of your resources, right? It's your action.
No, I mean, I think cavalry specifically is the issue because it's particularly vulnerable to AoE, as opposed to larger, bruisier trash. Not mooks in general, but cavalry specifically is going to start becoming less efficient because we have more AoE readily available, and it's particularly susceptible to AoE. I think you'll be better off in the future trading out the cavalry for one mob that is the combination of the two and has more versatile and effective abilities, higher attack modifiers, higher damage, with a single health pool.
I'm looking at the next dungeon and going, nah, I'm definitely keeping these. These cavalry are awesome. What about general vibe of the encounters? Everything seem fair? Anything seem unreasonable, unexpected, out of the ordinary?
This felt like the easiest dungeon I have seen.
Do you think that's because we've gotten a little bit better at this with tactics, or?
Well, I also think that we are starting to hit the curve point where wizards start to feel better than the CR, especially with the AoE and especially with the abilities that we're starting to build up with Uncanny Dodge and the ability to really sort of throw around spells more casually during encounters. I think we're starting to curve out of the CR appropriate level. This was a mix of close and ranged engagements. The one Spankum mob was actually interesting, unlike Undead Minotaur or whatever it was. I think this was one of the easier ones.
Yeah, I've usually found that in this range from 6 to 10, and then early double digits is where it starts to level back off again. This is where the power creep for the players is definitely in the players' favor.
5 and 6 especially, because Fireball is so wildly out of the appropriate power curve. They're just points where the players really have exceeded the monsters for a minute.
Anytime punching the rogue is a bad idea for a monster, we are at a point where the players are at a better place than the monsters are.
I don't know that I ever had an option where I didn't go for punching the rogue.
I never felt like I was in danger tonight.
Our hit point loss totals were very low.
I think you took the most, which is kind of by design, right? You don't want the cleric taking it because they're going to have to heal people, but it sucks to be the fighter, but if you're absorbing hit points, it's like, well, it's not going to somebody else.
Did the rogue take any damage?
Nope, I had a clean sheet tonight.
Even in this fight right here, which you're on right now, face tanking that thing didn't feel like some of the others where it was like, oh my god, I really need to look at where I could run to.
Also, with your hit point pool, and you didn't need to use them, but you have 6 channel divinities. Even if somebody dropped in every single encounter, as long as it's not the cleric, they can just stand right back up in every single encounter with half hit points. The ability to just snap your fingers, spend your action, and bring somebody from 0 to half is pretty astounding.
Would it have been better if I prepped like either Daylight or Water Walk?
Daylight, the only one I think it would have been effective against is the Elite Drow, because imposing disadvantage on attack rolls against people who are already so trash is probably not worth your time. Against him, it would be good because he's at +7 to hit you and he's got multi-attack. Probably worth it.
Does it cancel darkness?
Yeah, but I'm throwing it with CR 1/4 monsters. There's always another guy to cast darkness.
Waterwalk's a great prep if it was an RP campaign because you can just ritual cast it and it's good for 8 hours.
Here, I don't know that you needed the mobility. Also, if you look at the terrain layer, every window to get back in is also difficult terrain. You'd have to have your own dedicated cavalry, which the closest you have is the rogue.
Yeah, and I thought about just taking Fly tonight and putting it on the rogue just so he could be aerial cavalry.
Aircraft artillery would be a lot of resources into one, probably not any more effective pot, because he's just like, well, I'm just going to sit in the back and snipe.
Too much. If you're going to put fly on something, put that on the fighter. Allow them to close or lock something down instantly. Same thing with like haste. That goes on the fighter.
Got haste prep, I just have not found an encounter where we effectively use it.
This fight, you would have wanted to lock down the target to stop it from moving. Here, there was nothing to lock down. Here, there was not, maybe lock down him, but you guys didn't really care about him. He wasn't effective enough for it to matter. Here, there was nothing to lock down. Here, the Bulgura locked himself down. I guess if you early hit haste, although he went before you, so didn't really have an opportunity, but if you hit him with haste and then somehow got to the Bulgura, and then locked him down and prevented him from going after anybody else, that would have been effective. The Mezzaloth wanted to stay at range. There was really no locking to be done there. I didn't even make any of his melee attacks, much less against a squishy, so I don't know that there was really any fights, except for the first one, and you weren't about to throw a haste at this. Because, again, big scary monsters, not actually that scary.
Bulgura, it could have been really useful. I was moving pretty slow just because I was move, dodge, move, dodge. If I had been able to get in close with my action surge, that is a ton of damage.
Yeah, but the problem with that was I had already cast the Gust of Wind, and I was concentrating on that. I would have had to drop that at that point.
I think the Gust of Wind, while it would have been cool, was always such a long shot.
The other big thing, though, is it also gives you a ton of speed to work with. And the extra action you get can also be a dash, so you can cover 120 feet in a turn and still attack.
Up your movement to 60, and then you can dash with it. And then if you have an action surge, you can cover a lot of ground with haste.
Covering 24 squares in a turn, yeah.
I would have loved to see it here, but I mean, not more than the fireball in the last fight. Well, okay, maybe the fireball in the last fight, but not more than the fireball in the second fight.
We had to talk about the arcane recovery, using it on the 3rd level slot instead of the 1st level slots.
If you had been doing the proning in the first fight, you maybe wouldn't have needed that extra shield, and then you would have been able to use it on a fireball slot or a haste slot rather than shielding.
Yeah, because having an additional fireball would have been really nice.
Having the extra 3 shields, I think, is really strong because it allows you a certain level of security to just make mistakes that you don't have to pay for.
And looking at my spell slots right now, like I only used 1 more 1st level slot for another shield.
Considering that we didn't wind up taking all that much damage overall anyway.
Yeah, I could have used that for the 4th fireball, basically, instead of wasting it on 1st level slots that I didn't even use.
Where would you have thrown a 4th fireball?
It could have been used for haste or something else also. Because this could have got the fighter some haste, and he could have probably maybe covered some room a little bit more in this fight, or it could have been that additional counterspell that we could have needed for that cloud kill.
Yeah, haste or fly, a reduce on the Balgura or something. There's also the famous use of haste, use it on the Balgura, and then immediately dismiss it, and he skips his next turn.
That is a viable tactic.
That doesn't work.
It does work, as long as you ask the DM, are they willing? And they say yes, then it goes.
I wouldn't fall for that. If you're listening, you shouldn't fall for that either. It's something you should only fall for once. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's a one-time trick pony.
Great for betraying your friends, though.
My last note on this fight right here, the shatter, I probably should have used something different, but I was just basically shooting for the wind at that point to get a little bit more damage on that guy.
I thought the speculative artillery made sense. Recon by fire absolutely makes sense to soften him up. You have the spell slots. What are you going to throw at 2nd level that's going to be better than that?
Time-honored tradition.
And that dude has teleport, right? I feel like maybe he should have teleported out to the squishies. Once the cleric and the fighter were in the tower room, he should have maybe tried to flank us.
The thing is, it's an action. I took 3 actions. My first one was to dispel the 3rd level slot. Second one was to dispel the 3rd level slot. The third one was to cast Cloud Kill.
I thought it might be like a bonus or something.
Or the Incubus. It can shift into the ethereal plane, but it does so as an action. Phase Spiders can do it as a bonus action, which makes it very much worth it. But outside of role-playing opportunities, if the Succubus is doing it, it's just wasting time. The loot for this dungeon is 5,600 gold total, which comes out to 1,400 gold each. You guys collect a +1 shield, a +1 wand of the War Mage, a potion of Stone Giant Strength, and a potion of Heroism. That's all for the Underdark Stronghold. Next week, we'll continue with level 7 and fighting off ravaging orcs. Thank you for stopping by. I'm Sarson Zero, and I hope to see you then.